Welcome to the Conscience of Kansas radio show with Paul A. Ibbetson, a no-nonsense conservative talk show that looks at the local, state, and national issues that affect the people of Kansas. And now, here's Paul A. Ibbetson.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very interesting guest, a return guest to the Conscience of Kansas radio program in Alfonzo Rachel. He is a very interesting guy out of California, part of Machosauce Productions, Christian conservative activist. And Alfonzo Rachel, I'd like to welcome you back to the Conscience of Kansas radio program.
Hey, thanks for having me back, my friend.
Well, you know, you've really, from the last time we had you on, you were a rising star a while back, but now you're even bigger. I noticed, I was looking, folks in Radio Land, Alfonzo does a lot of different things, but he does these videos that you can find him on YouTube and New Media Alliance Television, different places. And you've added 10,000 subscribers by my count from the last time we had you on there. You're just getting tremendous hits. Tell us a little bit about what you've got going on and just what's happening with you.
Well, like I said, I just make these videos and make them for YouTube, make them for NMA TV. Got a little notice from Pajamas Media. Got a little bit of love from Big Hollywood. So I've been invited to write some I post some videos up on Big Hollywood. So
excellent.
You know, we're just trying to move that message, man.
Absolutely. A lot of people have been asking me, have you heard of Alfonzo Rachel? Have you checked out his videos? And, of course, we had real good response with the last time we had you on the show. And we run here on the Conscience of Kansas. We'll run the audio from your shows from time to time. And so we get the message out here in the beautiful flatlands of Kansas. I wanted to ask your opinion on a few things. And, folks, you can find Alfonzo Rachel several different places. But you can go to www.machosauceproductions.com. You can go to www.myspace.com/machosauceproduction and 20-pound sledge, and friend up if you so wish with Alfonzo Rachel. If you make the cut, you know, I don't know if they'll make the cut, Alfonzo, but assuming that they do. But
there's no elitism here, brother. They can get in where they can fit in. It's all good.
Well, that's good. Well, you know, you've been touching on several different topics, and I thought we might pick your brain tonight. The last video, if I'm right, you talked about the stimulus and the stimulus plan. Would you mind sharing your thoughts on that a little bit?
When did I mention the stimulus plan? I think last time I mentioned the stimulus plan was in that song I did, Right Wing and Woman.
Yes.
And, you know, when I think about the stimulus plan, I guess there's a few things that come to mind. But
I'm using that word loosely now. When I say stimulus, that's code word for pork. But, yeah, go ahead.
Well, when I think of it, when it comes to mind for me, you know, matter of fact, my wife and I were just talking about, you know, what he's talking about doing with our health care. Mm-hmm. We're going to have government monitoring. You know, you're going to have this health care online where the government can monitor your health care. And, you know, if we're talking about universal health care and, you know, if we're talking about these incentives, you know, who's going to pay for that? You know,
right.
If we're talking about stimulating the economy by giving tax cuts, you know, talking about a stimulus in that form, that's all well and good. That sounds great. But when you're talking about, you know, universal health care, wait a minute, back up. How far is that tax cut going to go? Who's going to pay for this health care that you're talking about?
Right.
You know, so it's almost like you know, like when they have a dog show and they kind of like feed, you know, something in front of the dog to get its attention while they're doing something back there, kind of like that sort of thing.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, when I was talking to the newspaper here at the university today, and they were asking me a little bit about the stimulus plan, and you know, the idea of trying to help people get jobs, like you say, is one thing, but there's so much pork in what's happening here, so much spending in places that, you know, I would like to have the choice of where that money goes instead of people saying, look, the country is swirling around the toilet of doom. You know, that's the way I've seen it framed, is that we're on the edge of destruction. And if we don't do something that's massively crazy than we've ever done before. We're going down. And it reminds me a little bit of the global warming, scenario. Does that make any sense with you?
I think, yeah, I could see that. I could see that analogy. What are they calling it nowadays? Porculus?
Porculus.
That's the new term for it. We're calling it porculus now. If we're just printing money, you're talking about stimulating the economy with money that we have nothing backing it. There's nothing backing the money that we're talking about stimulating this economy with. So in terms of pork, anybody, what's her name? Is it Susie Orman?
Yeah.
When she's always talking about, even your own dad will tell you, look, before you go spending any money, how much did you make?
Right.
When dad is, or mom is telling you how to balance a checkbook or anything like that, before when you go out and get your little summer job or whichever, before you go spending money, how much are you going to make? How much did you make? And can you go and buy what it is that you want to buy? Well, it's like the government didn't learn that.
Absolutely.
They didn't get that home training for some reason where they're just going off and they're spending all this money that they themselves have, and more importantly, that they didn't earn. They took it from us. Right. And what they took from us doesn't even cover what they're trying to go off with these programs to pay for. And then they want to try to take more from us to back up what it was they were trying to do in the first place.
Right.
Well, it just doesn't work.
It's a good point, and we're going to see how this works. It's happening. This ship has sailed, as they said. That he signed the bill. The money is spent, and so we will see. Economists that I've talked to say that we may see a little bit on the front end, a little bit of a surge on the front end, but that over the long haul, we're going to end up in a worse place. To me, the problem is I'm a free market guy, Alfonso. I believe in the free market because of my whole life I have seen the free market work. And the idea of the free market is not a utopia. There are winners and losers in the free market too. But what the situation is, the winners are those that are innovative, that outwork their competition, that are able to make a product that people want over others. This is opposed to what the government scenario is. There's winners and losers with the government scenario, but it's the winners and losers that the government picks. The government says, okay, business A, we're going to infuse money into you, whether you're viable or not. You can be the worst business in the world, and we're going to put money into you and let the guy beside you fail. And then you will be beholden to us because we will basically be the bank to you, and we will basically control you. And I'm just seeing Fidel Castro out of that whole scenario. I'm just like someone should just walk up and say, hey, that's Cuba, man. That's Cuba. And we should, fight against that. And so it's a scary thing when I see it being implemented.
Oh, it's absolutely, because you can't be dependent on somebody. You can't be in somebody's pocket or feeding off somebody without allowing them to control you. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a lot more government control, in the long haul.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to address a subject that you've also talked about in a lot of your different videos. You touch on the issue of where African Americans should fit into the conservative movement, how we should look at how the government has especially how liberals have taken in and propagandized to minority groups of where your status is, why you should be beholden to the government, how far you should aspire in life. You deal with this. It's a bold thing. You take a lot of heat on it. I address it too. But when I address it, I'm immediately told, white devil, you can't talk about this issue. And I want to talk with one because you're bold enough to talk about it. You've got the cojones to talk about it, and you have some good insights. I'd like to dovetail it in with the framing of Barack Obama. How do you see that the African American community, minority groups, have been propagandized by the liberal media, by the Democrat Party, and what have been the effects from that?